after you decided, okay, maybe doing sports as a living, actually playing was like, okay, there's the end of the road for that. And you decided, okay, I can stay within sports. This is what I can do. Can you tell me about that road? I mean, getting started with your first client and then eventually moving into a place where you're working with Anthony Davis, like one of the top athletes. How did that come about? And were there similarities from your journey as an athlete where people overlooked you? Did that come into play as well as your career as a performance coach?
It's a great question, because when you're in the mix early, all you're trying to think about is don't mess up, don't hurt anybody, feel and sound confident. Do I know what I'm talking about? Like there's so many conflicting thoughts and colliding thoughts that are happening once you get into the field and you're forward facing to clients, whether they're children or adults. You just want to do a great job, right? But then when you think about the demographic that I transitioned into, so initially started with young soccer girls, ages 9 to 12 years old, believe it or not. And we would go to the field, and I could remember vividly like being in front of the girls, but then the parents were right there. So I'm not even nervous about the little girls. I'm nervous about what the parents are going to think, right? And, you know, I think that nervous energy can be perceived as energy that makes you better and makes you more aware of all the things that you need to be aware of, or it can bring you down and suffocate you. So for me, you know, I've always been mentally tough because of the fact that I've gone through what I went through as an athlete, as an Asian athlete. So I've been training for this moment essentially my whole athletic career. But then transitioning from young soccer girls to NFL combine prep, which is basically the top college players in the nation, and I'm supposed to train them to be faster, stronger, and quicker. And they're like, you know, envision a 6'2", 255-pound linebacker. What are you going to teach me? How are you going to tell me that this is the best way to do it? Like, you always feel the energy of, well, you don't know what my goals are, because you've never been there. You've never experienced what I've experienced. So I think that the initial interaction is the most important interaction, because you only get one time to set the first impression. And one of the things that I always encourage young coaches to do and be is confident. Now, easier said than done, right? How do I develop confidence? How do I come off as confident? How do I perceive myself as someone of education and knowledge without being too overbearing and too arrogant? And, you know, I just think that the fact that I'm able to identify socially with a lot of these athletes gives me an edge. And if you listen to the way I talk, and you listen to the type of music I listen to, and you see the way I dress and you see the way I walk, it creates an identity that is easy for most of these athletes that I work with to draw attraction to. And I think that that's one of those things that really helps me, is because I'm able to communicate with young people in a way that makes sense to them, but also earns their respect. It allows me to overcome the initial eye test, once again, of when these athletes first see me. You look at this little Asian dude trying to tell me how to run fast and be strong. However, don't get it twisted. I'm athletic as hell, and I can demonstrate anything and everything that I talk about better than all of my athletes. So that also helps me, the ability to physically demonstrate as well as speak the language in a way that is consumable for young people, makes me somebody that is easy to be coached by. And I think that that's definitely something that I have continuously worked on throughout my career, but also is the reason why people work with me, is because of that. It's more or less trying to figure out ways to coach young kids or young professional athletes that is easy to understand, but also makes sense.